Hello. Welcome to the live. If you're watching the replay, hope you're having an amazing start to your week. Is today Monday? Today's Friday. Wow. When you work for yourself and you don't know what day of the week it is. Okay. Well, I'm here to talk about Amazon per usual. If you have a question, feel free to leave it in the question box. Let me know how the service is, you guys. Sometimes I have a little bit of issues with the connection here in my office. I felt like sitting down, so that's why I'm here. But if you do have questions, let me know. But to get started, I will just kind of give you a quick rundown on how the whole Amazon thing works, at least the way that I do it. So everyone has their own method of selling on Amazon. What I do specifically is something called private label. And with private label, what that means is that you buy products in bulk from China, or really from anywhere, but all of my products come from China, and I resell them on Amazon for more than what I bought them for. And this is something that I've been doing for a very long time. I'm going on 6 years in 2024, which is nuts, but I found a lot of success with Amazon selling. And so basically what I do on all my social media, including YouTube, TikTok, here on Instagram, is teach you guys how you can start selling on Amazon yourself. Let's see. The other part of what I do is something called FBA. I'm struggling today, you guys. If y'all knew what has gone on today, you would feel me. But I do something else called FBA, which stands for Fulfillment by Amazon, which basically means that Amazon does all of the deliveries for me. Meaning I never have to touch the products with my own hands. I never actually deal with the shipment process. All of the products are sent directly to Amazon, and then Amazon sends them directly to the customers on my behalf without me having to do anything, which I love because I am a lazy entrepreneur in the best way possible. You know, I like to simplify things. I like to make sure that I'm not doing any more work than I need to. And in order to make sure that your business can run without you physically doing things on a daily basis, you do have to have, outsourcing, you have to have processes. And that is what I have become very good at, is just making sure that my suppliers are making the products, Amazon is delivering the products, and I get to make money all day or a day, So that's the gist of what I do. If you have questions, I get it. Let me know. Hi, Crystal. How are you? I miss you, girl. How are you? Let me see what other comments were here. Hi, Miss O. How you doing? Hi, everyone. Welcome to the live. Let's see here. I watched the video, but how come we can't pause? You mean the training? It just plays all the way through. You can't pause it. Hey, Abby. Hey, Bangara. How you doing? FDA? No, FBA. Fulfillment by Amazon. Fulfillment by Amazon. Let's see what else. Love to see a fellow Kenyan lady doing well. Thank you kindly. How do you get started? Great question. So the best way to get started would be to watch my free training. That's like kind of very, very base level. It gives you the whole overview of how the whole business works, and gives you some examples of how to get started and all of that. So I would say start with the free training. But in a nutshell, what you're going to do is you're going to sign up for your Amazon seller account. You can go to the website sell.amazon.com. And then from there, you're going to start looking for products to sell on Amazon using a software called Helium 10. Helium 10 is a product research tool. It helps you find profitable products to sell on the platform. And I do have a link for that in my bio as well. So feel free to check that out. Okay, question here. If you guys have questions, put them in the question box and I'll be able to organize myself a little bit so that I don't miss anyone. For first-time sellers, is it better to start with FBA or FBM? I highly recommend you start with FBA. Some people say to start with FBM as kind of like a stepping stone, but I think that is, how can I explain it? I think that that's playing small when you start with FBM. And the only reason I say that is when you do FBM, you're essentially volunteering to do all of your own fulfillment. FBM stands for fulfillment by merchant compared to fulfillment by Amazon, which is FBA. So if you're going to do your own fulfillment, that means that you can only realistically and logistically handle a certain amount of orders. So if your product goes viral on TikTok, if an influencer talks about your product, if you just gain natural momentum on Amazon, you have to remember that you're the one who is packaging and mailing out all of those orders. That's fine if you're selling a couple dozen units a month, a couple hundred units a month even, that's going to be very time consuming, but that realistically you could do. But what happens if you start to sell thousands? You want to celebrate because technically you're making more money, but you only make that money if you actually fulfill the orders. So I just personally think that it's more work than what it is worth. I think it confines your business, and it is a barrier to scaling because you, at some point, you're going to have to go FBA. You're going to just have to. And on top of that, the FBM option, you're not going to have the prime check mark on your listing. And without that prime check mark, a lot of people are not going to even buy your product. Like me, for example, I spend a lot, and I'm embarrassed to say, but I spend way too much money on Amazon. And I can count on one hand, I've been an Amazon shopper for like 10 years. I can count on one hand the number of items I have bought that were not Amazon Prime. Like if it's not Prime, I'm not buying it. So if you don't do FBA, you're not going to have the Prime check mark, and you're going to have a lot of people who will just not even entertain your listing. So you're going to just lose out on a lot of money. And I just don't think that that is worth it. Yes, technically you save the money on the FBA fees, but what is the value of your time? What is the value of you having to sit there and print out shipping labels and package the items and then drive to UPS or USPS or wherever? Like, who wants to do that? Do you want to do that? I'm not trying to be shady. I'm just saying, like, realistically, think about the longevity of your business. That's just a no-go in my opinion. Okay, next question here says, do you use any U.S. wholesalers? I do not. All of my suppliers are located in China. I have considered sourcing out of the U.S. in the past. The reason I don't do it is because they're too expensive. Like a product that I can buy, I'm thinking specifically of one of my products, I can buy it for like $4.50 from China. Same suppliers here in the US are charging like $15 for that exact product. No, I'm here to make money. So I source all my products from overseas because it's cheaper and they can make the products more quickly. So that's my own personal opinion. I know people who use US wholesalers, but they definitely sacrifice profit margins for those US wholesalers. So it just depends on you and your product. The only products realistically I would consider sourcing in the US would be like skincare products or beauty products, because of the tighter quality control. But outside of that, I wouldn't even bother. How do you manage your ads? I use Amazon's campaign manager and also a tool with Helium 10 called Adtomic. So I manage all of my campaigns using those two tools. Okay, let's see here. How do you send the products you sell to Amazon FBA, like for them to ship it for you? How do you get it to them in the first place? Your suppliers will send it directly there, or you can use a freight forwarder, which is a shipping company. There's a whole process, and I do have a YouTube video on that on my YouTube channel, Learn with Abby. But essentially what happens is you get the details from your supplier about your shipment. So how many units you're sending, how big the dimensions of the packages are, the weight, all of that. And then you use that to do what is called a shipment plan through your Amazon account. The shipment plan tells Amazon how many products you're planning on sending in, how many boxes, all the details, and then they will give you a shipping label. So Amazon will provide the shipping label. You send the PDF of the shipping labels to your suppliers. They stick it onto your packages and then send it directly to Amazon. This question here says, can I use Helium 10 on an iPad? No, you're going to need Google Chrome on either laptop or desktop. You can get a really cheap Chromebook for like $100 to $200. Next question says, Amazon denied my brand registry. What should I do? Why did they deny it? Did you file for the trademark? Did you not? Let's see. Where can I find the free training? You can find it linked in my bio. You can find it linked in my bio. Next question here says, do you recommend wholesaling branded products, or is private label better? I recommend private label and nothing else. I don't like wholesale, and that's just a personal opinion. I'm not saying it's bad. I personally don't like it because I want to build an asset. I want to have a brand that is a tangible thing that I can sell later on. I feel like if you're going to spend the time, the money, the energy on a business, you should get something out of it when you decide that you don't want to do the business anymore. If you're selling wholesale products, you have nothing tangible. You're not building an asset. You're making money, but why not make money and also build an asset? I know people personally who have exited their Amazon businesses. They've sold their brands for stupid amounts of money. Like, you would be shocked. And the reason they're able to do that is because the brand is what is of value. Yes, you make money, but you can make money so many different ways. This is 2023 going into 2024. The internet exists. You can make money doing literally anything, but what is going to be the best use of your time? So me, for example, I've got 2 Amazon brands. At the time that I sell them, I don't know exactly the dollar amount that I'll be able to sell them for, but let's just say that I have been approached already for purchase of my Amazon brands, both of them. And we're not talking like 5-figure offers. Sometimes we're not even talking 6-figure offers. So I say that not to brag, but to let you know that it is worth it to put that time into building the brand, because at the end of the day, when you think about these really successful businesses, what is it that sets them apart from their competitors? It's their branding. It's the brand in and of itself. That's the valuable thing. If you think of a business like Apple, for example, Apple has lots of different products, but there are other electronics companies that make different things. Well, why are people willing to spend 2 times the amount on an Apple product versus any of the others? It's the branding. That's where the value is. So if someone were to buy Apple, they're not buying it because they want, well, maybe they want the technology, maybe they want some of those other things, but what do they want more than anything else? The brand recognition, the trust that people have in the products, the relationship that the customer has with the brand. That's what they really want to buy. Does that make sense? So in conclusion, I prefer private label, and that is my honest opinion. Okay, let's see here. Should I sell inventory from my boutique using FBA? If you want to, choice is yours. Next question. Are you open to mentoring? If so, I would love to be your mentee and spoil my Ghanaian mom too. I offer mentorship through my step-by-step program, which is linked in my bio. So if you're interested in learning from me, that would be the best way to do so by joining the program. This question is similar, so I'll just answer it here. Do you have a course? Are we able to contact you in the course if we have questions? Yes, I do have a course. It is linked in my bio. If you're interested, you can read up on it there. Can we contact you in the course if we have questions? Yes, we have a Facebook group, so that's primarily where I answer questions because it is helpful to the entire group if I answer the questions there. But if it's something private or something confidential, you can always send me a message separately. So the answer is yes. Again, the link to my course is in my bio. Next question here says, so when you private label, is that just putting your own company label on the products you get from China, or you don't have to put a label on the products? Yes, a part of private label would be putting your own branding on the products as well. Correct. Let's see here. This question says, are there credit score requirements to open an FBA account? Nope, Amazon does not care. Let's see here. How great was Black Friday for you? Black Friday was amazing. Yeah, Black Friday was great. I made really good money. And so far this past November, I have made the most money in 1 month that I've ever made on Amazon. This close to a $200,000 month. I didn't quite hit it, it is what it is. I have faith and I'm speaking it into existence that I will hit that in December. And yeah, I'm really happy with the growth of my Amazon business. I think that if I would have focused on scaling more, I think I would already be like probably double the numbers where I am. But for me, and I know this is controversial, I know some people might be like, girl, you are so full of it, but I'm 100% honest that at a certain point, money just becomes money, right? Like there are things that are more important than making $1 million a month on Amazon, though that would be amazing. And trust me, if I could do it without putting in an extra hour of my time, I would do it. I just know that in order to get to those kinds of numbers, that I would have to put in more time. I would have to deal with more stress as far as logistics and ordering inventory, cash flow. And for me personally, that's not what I want my life to be. That is not the reason I became an entrepreneur. The whole reason I even started selling on Amazon is because I wanted to be more financially comfortable. I wanted to be able to go to happy hour and not have to check how much money was in my bank account. I wanted to be able to pay off my student loans. I wanted to be able to help my mom. And those were my motivations. I didn't become an entrepreneur to be working, the same amount of hours that I was working at my 9 to 5. Why would I want to do that? So for me, I have come to this very, very sweet spot in my business, this amazing, I don't even want to call it crossroads, but this perfect spot where X meets Y, X meaning the amount of hours that I have to work and the amount of money that I make. That's perfect for me. I mean, I work 4 hours a week, if that, 3 to 4, just depends. And I can have a month like last month where I did $195,000 in sales on Amazon. And I got to spend all the time with my son that I wanted. I got to travel. Where did I go last month? November. Where was I? Oh, in Houston. And then also in Maryland for the holidays. I just booked my trip to go to Jamaica for New Year's because I felt like it. There are things that are more important than squeezing every dollar that you possibly can out of your business. And I just, I'm happy with where things are. Again, some people might be like, well, if I were you and I could make more money and I could make double the amount, I would do it. That's great for you. But when you get to the point where you are living comfortably, you're able to take care of all your responsibilities, you're able to help the people that you love and not have to work that many hours, come back and let me know if you really end up deciding that you're just going to work more hours because money is the most important thing. It just, whatever. I could go on a tangent forever, but that's just the way that I feel about it. I don't know if I'll always feel this way. Maybe at some point I'll be like, oh, let me just do the most right now and make as much money as I can right now. But I kind of feel like I've already gone through all of that. You guys remember, this is my 6th year in business. I'm going into my 6th year. I feel like I already put in the time. I already put in the effort. I already put in the hours. This is me enjoying the fruits of my labor, honey. I done the sweat, cried the tears. I did everything to get myself to where I am now, and I'm just enjoying it. And I think that's the beautiful part of business, of life, of time freedom, financial freedom, is that you get to decide what you want to do with it. And don't get it twisted, you guys. I don't only sell on Amazon. That's how I, got the initial money to be able to, buy my mom's house in 2019 and pay off $40,000 of student loan debt and buy my first luxury car and all of these other things. Yes, that's what Amazon did for me. But one of the most important things that it did for me was allow me to expand and branch out into other businesses, to invest in real estate, to, spend more time on the things I'm actually passionate about, to be able to even teach you guys. If I wasn't comfortable with what I was making from Amazon, I wouldn't be sitting here on Instagram Live. I wouldn't be posting reels. I wouldn't have time for it. I would have to work in order to pay my bills. But because I have that time freedom, I can do what I like. And part of that is teaching you guys, talking to you guys, sharing what I've learned along the way. I enjoy it. So anyway, that turned into more of a tangent than it needed to be, but I just wanted to give a little bit of my thoughts on that. Okay, let's keep on going here. I did everything. They said, we have concluded that the brand/user has engaged in abusive conduct as per our policy. So that means that you did something to violate the terms of service, which I wouldn't know what that would be. Let's see. So can your brand be a variety of things or you stick to one category? I've got 2 different brands. They both are under the health and household category, but they sell different products. So for example, think about bathroom accessories and office organization, as 2 categories. Technically they're similar in the fact that they're stuff for your house, but they're for different things, if that makes sense. But you can sell whatever you want under whatever brand you want. Under whatever brand you want. It doesn't really matter. But again, talking about the value of that brand and being able to sell it later on for 6 figures, 7 figures. I know people who've sold their Amazon brands for 8 figures or more. You're going to need to create a cohesive brand. So a cohesive brand means that the products that are being sold under that brand all make sense. You would feel weird if, I always struggle to come up with examples. I don't know why I do this, but you would be confused if Frito-Lay, they make chips and salty snacks, if they came out with a line of like healthy cheese. Cheese? That's very random. I wanted to say like fruit, but who comes out with their own branded fruit? That's like random. But anyway, let me use that as an example to illustrate my point. So if it was Frito-Lay, the people who make, I think, Lay's and Doritos and all that stuff, if they came out with bananas or they came out with like their own version of something healthy, you'd be like, that doesn't really make sense because they sell chips. That's not like what their brand is. You know what I mean? So that's what I want to say. That probably wasn't the best example. I feel like there's Dove. Okay, Dove. And you know what? I don't even know if this is true or not, so forgive me if I sound like an idiot. But I always was confused by that. I'm like, is the Dove that makes deodorant and soap and all of that the same Dove that makes ice cream? If somebody knows, please let me know. But either way, me as a consumer, I'm like, why the hell would I want to eat ice cream from someone who makes soap? Like, it just doesn't make sense because the brand is supposed to be like soaps and beauty products and blah, blah, blah. You guys get it. Y'all get it. I know you do. So yeah, that's that. I would say to try to build a brand around a specific niche or a specific product. That way the brand is cohesive and it makes sense when you branch off. So if you start out selling these, for example, these little lights that you can clip onto your phone, your next product shouldn't be disposable straws. That doesn't really make sense. Your next product would be something that has something to do with like phones or electronics or accessories for phones. That would make more sense. Okay, let's keep on going here. See what other questions. By the way, you guys, if you are just joining and you have questions, please put them in the question box. It is impossible for me to answer questions and then also look in the comments. So if you have a question, the best way for you to get an answer is to just put it in the box and I'll do my best to try to get to it. Do you ever adjust your prices for Black Friday or just in general? Of course I do. I know. Y'all have seen those TikToks where people go into Walmart or Target or whatever and they lift up the Black Friday pricing and it says like Black Friday price $2.99 and then they lift it up and the regular price was already $2.99. I don't like when it happens to me, but I definitely do it on Amazon. I'm not gonna lie. I have no reason to, okay? So here's what I do. If Black Friday is coming or Amazon Prime Day is coming, I'm planning ahead, okay? I'm not gonna just change the price the day before to make it lower. No, baby, that's rookie, that's amateur, all right? What you're gonna do is like a couple weeks in advance, maybe even a month in advance, you start lowering your price little by little. Amazon doesn't like when you change the price drastically, so you don't want to go up by $10 in a day. Like, if your goal is to go up by, okay, pause. Let me explain this a little bit more slowly. Let's say that my normal price is $19.99, and I know that Black Friday is coming, and I know that people are expecting a discount. What I'm going to do a month ahead is I'm going to slowly start raising my price up, and let's say that my target price for Black Friday is that I want to sell at the same amount. I don't want to lose any money. So I'm going to ease my price up. Maybe my target is $24.99, or maybe my target is $29.99. I'm going to raise it up. That way, by the time Black Friday comes, guess what? I'm going to lower the price back down to $19.99. Okay, I'm not losing any pennies and people think they're getting a discount. I know that sounds bad. It's marketing. It is what it is, you guys. And at the end of the day, if you don't do it, your competitors are doing it. And it is what it is. I don't do that all the time. And sometimes for me, it's not even worth it to have all of that movement because it can mess with my momentum. It can mess with my ranking. If I increase the price and I know for a fact that the sweet spot is $19.99, if I am trying to trick people essentially into thinking that they're getting a discount, it might mess up with my sales. It might mess up my own ranking, which wouldn't be worth it in that case. I'm just telling you that this is the way that people do it. And that's why a lot of times, especially in more recent times where sellers are under a lot of pressure, prices are increasing for materials and all of that, you really can't afford to mark the price of your products down, So in order for you not to take the L, you do what you have to do, right? So it is what it is. That's what a lot of, not just Amazon sellers do, but a lot of big retailers do. When you go to the store, that's what they're doing. They're making it seem like you're getting a discount. You're not really. And low key, I'm kind of happy that people are becoming more hip to this. I think that Black Friday this year, though I made more money than I did any other year that I sold on Amazon, I just think that people are starting to realize more that, you know, waiting all year for a 10% discount or 20% discount, what's the point? Like, you might as well just get the things that you need when you need them. If you can afford to wait, by all means. And sometimes companies and brands really do significant enough discounts to where it's worth it. But a lot of the times it's just going to be something little, and you know, it is what it is. And let me just say this before I end this answer. I know that for some people, 10% off is significant. Like, you're on a very tight budget, or maybe you're living paycheck to paycheck. I'm not trying to be shady whatsoever. So that would be more important for you. For other people, 10% off, 20% off is not going to make a difference. It's not going to be enticing enough for them to buy. It's not going to compel them to buy. So that's that. I know that answer is probably a little bit more honest than it needed to be, but you guys know I'm here to just be as real as I can be. So let me keep on going here. Who puts the labels on the products for you? China, Amazon, or you? Your suppliers would put the labels on the products for you. Okay, let's see here. How do you determine pricing if someone else on Amazon is selling a similar product? Do you go lower? It depends on what you're offering, and it depends on, I mean, realistically, what you're offering is like the biggest factor, I would say. So what I mean by what you're offering is that same competitor that you're comparing yourself to, what do they have and what do you have? Do you have a differentiator that's significantly better than theirs? Are you branding yourself as a luxury option? Like, what is the comparison in the offers? That makes all of the difference. I've gone the angle of being the like luxury option in the past, and I've had a lot of success with that. So if everyone else is selling for $19.99, mine's $24.99. Why? Because I've got a differentiator that no one else has. I've got a bundle that nobody else has, and I can justify the price. There are other times where when I launch, I not necessarily undercut, but you come in at a cheaper price because you don't have reviews, you don't have any real reason for people to choose yours over your competitor. So that's why it's really important that you always differentiate your product, because if you're selling the exact same thing as someone else, think about it from a customer's perspective. Why on earth would they buy yours when you have 0 reviews, 1 review, 2 reviews, next to someone else who has 500 reviews and you guys are selling the same exact thing? Makes no sense. Now, if you guys are selling the same product, but yours has this additional component, or yours is a bundle, or yours is made out of stronger material, or yours is bigger, or whatever the differentiator is, then you're giving people a reason to buy yours. So even if you only have 2 reviews, you have something that no one else has, they're going to be much more willing to buy your product than your competitor with hundreds of reviews already. Does that make sense? Okay. Next question. Do you suggest running Facebook ads as well? I do not. I don't run Facebook ads. I've never ran a Facebook ad. I don't even know how to run a Facebook ad, but I do use Amazon's advertising platform, which is called PPC or pay-per-click. And that is what I would recommend to launch your products. Next question here says, hi, do you offer a course? I sure do. It is linked in my bio if you're interested in checking it out. Let's see here. What are the 3 best categories to sell in your opinion? There's not best versus worst categories. There's opportunity in every category. Categories that I gravitate towards, and again, I'm not saying these are the best. I'm just saying that these are the ones that I personally like a lot. I like home and kitchen. I like health and household because that's where all of my products are located. And I like pet supplies. Even though I don't have any pets, I don't know anything about pets, but one thing about pet owners, they are willing to spend some bread on their animals. So I go where the money is. Next question here says, when it comes to packaging, how much control and options do we actually have to create it? And say we have a customized box, does Amazon use that box or puts them in a box of their own? Okay, first question in this 2-parter is, when it comes to packaging, how much control and options do we actually have to create it? You have all of the options up to your supplier's limitations. So if you want a very specific type of packaging, your supplier theoretically should be able to accommodate you. But let's say that there's like you want a magnetic box, but your supplier literally just doesn't make magnetic boxes, then you're limited. You have options. You can find another supplier that makes a magnetic box. You can buy the magnetic box from another supplier, have them ship it to your main supplier, and then, that's too complicated in my opinion. What I would recommend is that you talk to your supplier about the options that they have. They will let you know. We have mesh bags, we have OPP bags, we have cardboard boxes, we have color boxes, we have styrofoam, we have shrink wrap, whatever they have, they will let you know if you ask them, hey, I want to know all of your packaging options, if that's something that's important. One thing I want to mention is that packaging varies by product. You don't have to go for the most expensive packaging. In fact, I would caution you to not fall down that trap of overdoing it and overspending on your packaging and increasing the cost of your product too much. For certain products and niches, it is worth it to pay more for better packaging. One example of that would be something like, let's say it's like a kid's toy. When you're selling a kid's toy, your customer is the parent, but the consumer is the child. The one who's actually using the product is the child. So you want to appeal to the child. You're not going to sell a kid's toy in a black box. You're not going to sell it in a brown box. You're not going to sell it in an army green box. It's a kid's toy. You're going to put it in something pastel, something pink, something baby blue, or whatever, because that's the type of product that you're selling. If you're going to sell a piece of jewelry, you're going to sell a watch. Yeah, you should probably have it in a box, something nicer. If you're going to sell Q-tips or straws, does it matter if it's the nicest packaging? Probably not. So that being said, one thing that I always do whenever I am launching a new product is I will buy the competitor's product. So I'll go on Helium 10, I'll look at who's making the most money, and probably the top 2 or 3, I'm going to order their product. I'm going to see how it comes, how is it packaged, and that will give me a baseline of what packaging I need to have. So if I'm thinking about selling a product and I know it's going to be significantly cheaper if I shrink wrap it instead of putting it in a cardboard box, but I order all 3 of the top sellers and they're all in cardboard boxes, they're doing that for a reason. They're not just putting it in a cardboard box because they want to. It's more expensive to do that. So they're doing it probably because the product is not sturdy enough to just be packaged in shrink wrap. It might get damaged, it might get bent, it might get whatever. So they're probably doing that for a reason. And that's why it's important to know what the baseline is in your niche and in your market so that you can do at least that. So if everyone's doing a cardboard box with a sticker on top, you might do a cardboard box, but the graphics and the writing and everything is printed on the box. It's going to cost you a lot more, but that is a little bit of an elevation. Does it matter? Maybe, maybe not. You have to do your research and make sure that you're not overspending and hurting your own profit margins because you want to be the bougiest packaging. It's not always worth it. Sometimes it is, but a lot of times it's not. Let's say we have a customized boxes. Amazon use that box or puts it in a box of their own. Amazon will package it in whatever packaging they're sending it out to or sending it out in. So for example, let's say that someone orders your product and yours comes in a custom box, but then that customer also ordered 5 other things. It depends on the shipping and whatever. If you do overnight shipping, it might come separately. Maybe you have an Amazon delivery day. Everything comes on one day in one box so that you have less waste, whatever. But ultimately, Amazon's going to package it in the way that makes most sense to Amazon. So sometimes they will put it in a box. Sometimes they will put it in a those like insulated envelope bags. It just depends on the product. So rarely, if ever, will Amazon send it just in the packaging that you send it in. But here's one thing that I'll also caution you guys on. If you are getting your boxes printed, like you're getting the stuff printed directly onto your box, which is called like a color box. If you're going to do that, you might want to consider also having that box shrink wrapped or having like that extra layer of plastic, because as your product is being transported and as multiple hands are on it and it's making its way through the fulfillment centers, because it's going to go all over the place before it gets to your customer, it could get dirty and it could get damaged. So if you put an extra layer of plastic around that box, it's an extra layer of protection. Just something to think about. So let me move on because I'm spending a lot of time on this question. I've got a bunch of others to get to. And I do have to go ahead and close this out in about 10 minutes, you guys. I'm going to go and pick my son up from school. Let's see here. What is your advice for someone who may not be able to afford the course? What research do we need to be doing to still be successful? I would say to definitely go to my YouTube channel. If you cannot afford the program, go to the YouTube, because I do a lot of product research videos over there. I walk you through a lot of the steps of selling on Amazon. Of course, you're not going to get the mentorship aspect of it as you would with the course, but you will still have good information to work off of. That being said, there is someone who I've been in contact with here on Instagram. They followed me from a reel or something, and just recently launched their Amazon brand on Thanksgiving, and they're doing about $350 a day in sales on Amazon, just based off of watching my YouTube videos. So it's possible. You don't have to take my course, guys. I'm not here to tell you that you need it. You have to do it if you want to be successful. It will help you for sure. It'll make it easier for sure. But you can be successful without it. I would just say that you need to be prepared to do more of your own research. You might have to do some trial and error that could end up costing you some money. I mean, it just is what it is. So it's really just a matter of, the importance to you. What is more important, your time, your money, and that's how you can kind of figure out where you're going to use more of your resources when it comes to learning the information and actually launching your product. But like I said, she didn't join my course. She watched all my YouTube videos. She interacts with, my reels, my content. She's asked me some questions in the DMs. I've always answered them. And she's launched $350 a day in her first week. So very, very happy for her, and proof that anyone can do this, truly. Okay, let's see here. Your webinar was amazing today, I think is what is trying to be said here. But I was wondering if you could still sell on Amazon but ship your product out personally, or would it have to be sent through Amazon? Thank you for the compliment on the webinar. No, you don't have to have Amazon ship out your products. I touched on this a little bit before. Maybe you weren't in the live at the time I was talking about this. But if you do your own fulfillment, you're going to not have the Amazon Prime check mark, which you'll definitely lose a bunch of customers that otherwise may have bought your product, but now they're not going to buy it because they don't know when they're going to get it. And it's just more work for you. You can do it. There's people who do their own fulfillment. I do think at a certain point you will have to use FBA, because if your product or products, your brand takes off, whatever the case is, your goal is to make more money, I would assume. So if you want to make more money, what do you have to do? Sell more product. But if you are doing your own fulfillment and you're selling more product, how are you going to keep up with the fulfillment of thousands of units of products a month? It just it's a time suck in my own opinion, but do as you wish. I just always recommend FBA or Fulfillment by Amazon. Okay, next question here says, when starting off, how much would you recommend to spend to start off? It really depends on the product that you are wanting to sell. Some products are going to be more expensive than others, and that will have a big impact on your budget. I have a whole YouTube video that goes in detail on all of the different things that you would need to account for, including the cost of your products, which will be your biggest expense. It's going to go into things like your shipping. It's going to go into things like inspections, things like advertising. So all of those components will make up what you're going to need to start. What I can just give you as kind of a rule of thumb is that if you are selling a product that is reasonably priced, so to me, $5 or cheaper per unit, let's call it a $3 product. If you buy 500 to start, which is what I recommend, 500 times 3 is 1,500 for your inventory. And then you need money set aside for ads, your logo, one-off costs like that. So it depends is really the honest answer. But like I said, I would recommend you watch that YouTube video. It goes a lot more in depth as to what you will need to get started. I think this is the same question, but let me just see. How much money do you need to get started? How soon can you start to a turnaround? The fastest I've seen someone launch an Amazon business was someone in my program. They launched in, I would say, like a month and a half to 2 months. That was the fastest. And the reason that you most likely you're going to need at least 2 months is because the product has to be made. And normally that'll take, I don't know, I would say 3 to 4 weeks on average. And then the product has to be shipped, which will take another like 3 to 4 weeks on average. So even if you find a product really quickly and you do everything really quickly, you're still just going to have that wait time, which is annoying. I understand, but it is for the betterment of your business because your customers are going to get their products really, really quickly with FBA. So no, this is not something that you can do overnight. That's just the truth of the matter. I could sit here and, lie to you guys. I could sell you a dream. I could say, oh, you could be making money tomorrow. You can't, but you could be on your way to making money tomorrow. It's just a matter of how much time you dedicate to your business, how quickly you find your product, your suppliers, how quick they can make the products, how quick they can ship it, so on and so forth. So that is, again, the honest answer. It might not be the popular one. It's just the truth. Is there such a thing as doing too much or of everything that you will show no matter what? Is there such a thing as doing too much or everything that you do will show no matter what? Hold on. Am I missing something? I've got 3 brain cells. Hold on. Is there a such thing as doing too much or everything that you do will show no matter what? I'm just going to guess that you're asking. Actually, I don't know. Let me not assume because I'm just going to go on a tangent. Clarify what you mean by that last part and then I'll do my best to answer. I'm not really sure if I'm just a little bit slow today. What was your first product and how much did you make in your first month? My first product was a nail file and nail buffer put together in one package. I actually have a YouTube video where I go over my first 2 products. How much did I make in my first month? I think in sales, I made like 1,000, 15, something like that. I made something in my first month, technically, but did I profit? No. I made sales, but I didn't actually profit any money. And the reason is all of my money went right back into my ads because I picked a bad product. And I talk about this a lot on my YouTube channel. I have a whole video, how I lost $5,000 selling on Amazon. Yes, I did. I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm saying it so that you can learn from my mistake. I over-ordered on the inventory and I picked a bad product. That's how I lost all that money. So for you guys, luckily, you're in this live. Luckily, you follow me, so you know not to do what I did. Do not over-order your inventory like I did. I bought 5,000 units of my first product. Stupid. But I didn't know what I was doing. We thank God for growth. We know better now. For you guys, you should be ordering about 500 units to start. Not 10 times as much like I did, okay? So that is that. Let's see. Next question says, do you recommend a logo for your packaging? I do. You should always put your logo on your package. By nature, it'll make your package and your product seem more valuable, which is what you want. The more valuable it looks, the more you can charge for your product. Next question here says, there it is. Will you be selling cars too on Amazon? What do you think about the healthcare as well being offered by? Will you be selling cars too? I don't know what you mean. No, I don't plan on selling cars on Amazon. What do I think about the healthcare? I'm not shocked that Amazon is going down that route. I think that Amazon wants to take over the world. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but if they can get a piece of every industry, I genuinely think that they will. And at the end of the day, you have to remember, what did I say? Let's see if you guys were listening. What did I say earlier about brands? What did I say earlier about brands? Y'all remember? We're talking about the valuable part of a brand. What is the valuable part of it? The most valuable part of having a brand. Let me know. Let me know. If somebody guesses it right, I'll give you a copy of my ebook for free. What is the most valuable part of having a brand? Does anyone remember? And guys, if you have a question, please put them in the question box. I'm only answering from the question box. It's the only way I can stay organized. The name, yes, but there's a little bit more. Being able to sell it, partly. Reputation. Okay, recognition. Yeah, there we go. Build an asset. Okay, y'all were listening. Yes. So where I'm going with this is the trust factor. So that Mia with reputation, send me a DM. I'll give you a copy of the ebook for free. But yes, that is where I'm going with this. You want the trust that is built in with your customer base. And Amazon, one thing about it, they've got a lot of customers. We're talking like hundreds of millions of people who use the platform on a regular basis. So if they can get even a tiny, tiny fraction of that customer base to use Amazon Fresh, and now they've got a little bit of a stake in the, Instacart-y area, oh yeah, they're gonna do it. If they can get a little piece of the healthcare industry, oh, they're gonna do it. If they can get a piece of what they're gonna expand out until they can't expand out anymore. And at a certain point, I do think that the government will step in, and the government has tried to step in certain ways. That Amazon's a monopoly and blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, it's not gonna matter because Amazon, it makes money. They pay money to the government. And in my opinion, and this is like tinfoil hat conspiracy theory, the government is never going to seriously do anything about Amazon because of the money factor. They're getting a cut. Like at the end of the day, it's in nobody's best interest for Amazon to go down. And that's just the way that I see it. That's why I don't stress out. People ask me all the time, what if Amazon doesn't exist anymore? What are you going to do? I'm like, that's not going to happen. Okay. Like as someone who sells on the platform as a third party seller, I'm like literally tiny, tiny fish. I make millions of dollars in sales on Amazon a year, which is amazing and great. You guys think I'm like big fish. No, I'm teeny tiny. There are people who have so much more at stake than I do that are not going to let Amazon fail. And that's just the way that I feel about it. So I sleep easy at night knowing that people have more to lose than me. And I will sell on Amazon till the wheels fall off. I just feel like it's a golden opportunity. Like I literally think to people going and like digging for gold or searching for gold. And I literally feel like Amazon is that, only because there's just so much you can see. People who are spending so much money on the platform. I just feel like if you don't sell on there, someone else will, and someone else will make the money. Like pause due to poor connection. Can you guys hear me? I think I lost you for a second. Okay, let me end there because I will just keep on going. We do have a few more questions to get through. Not really a question. You're the best Amazon coach online. I've learned so much from you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Happy to hear that you're learning. It makes what I do worth it to, come on here and talk my stuff about e-commerce. So I'm happy to hear it and I'm happy to help. Okay, I'm going to answer maybe 3 more questions, you guys, and then I have to go. One thing about my baby, he gets mad at me if I don't pick him up in a timely manner, okay? I like to be like one of the first parents there to pick him up. But even if I'm not, there's just like a certain time that I won't pick him up past then. Okay, anyway, let's see here. What kind of products would you recommend to start selling first? Products that are low cost, $5 or less per unit, non-trendy products, non-seasonal products, products that are small in size, lightweight, high demand, low competition. Let's see. After your order arrives at the Amazon warehouse, how long does it take to go live? For them to check in your products, it varies. Different times of the year also have an impact. So like right now, Q4, it's a lot busier. So it might take a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It just kind of depends on how busy the fulfillment center where your products are going is. I've had my products be checked in literally like a day or 2 days. I've had products that have taken weeks to check in because I sent them in too late. So it really just depends, but I would say to plan for a couple days to maybe like a week or 2 is average. I think 2 weeks is even on the high end. Like a couple days to maybe a week would be an average check-in time. Okay, let me keep going here. Next question says, where do you find your suppliers and what do you consider when choosing your suppliers? I have a whole YouTube video on this topic. I go through my whole criteria for how I look for my suppliers, how I choose them and all of that. I find all my suppliers on Alibaba.com. What do I consider? How many years they've been in business, whether they're verified or not. I read their reviews. I look at their response time. I look at a number of factors. And for me, picking a good supplier is a really important part of the process because they're the ones who are literally making the thing that is going to make your business money. If they drop the ball on the quality of the products, then your business is what suffers, and they still get their money at the end of the day. So it's really important to hold your suppliers accountable, always have an inspection done so that you know that the products are the right quality. And there are different like checks and balances that you can put into place. One of the other most important factors, aside from getting an inspection and aside from getting samples of your product, is also to make sure that you pay in a secure way so that, God forbid, if something goes wrong, you're able to still have some recourse to get your money back. If you pay them in the worst way, which is with a wire transfer, if they play around with your product or they never even send the product, you'll never see that money again and you will have been scammed. So make sure you always pay with PayPal or Alibaba Trade Assurance. Those are the two ways that you can make sure that your funds are protected in case something goes wrong. Okay, let's see here. This question says, I know this is different from FBA fulfillment a little, but what is your take on doing other digital products, say maybe from Canva or something along those lines? I don't think there's anything wrong with selling digital products. I think you can make good money doing that. So for example, if you sell like a digital calendar, if you sell some type of a template or whatever, a journal, you can sell courses. I have a course that I sell as well that's considered a digital product. So you can sell anything you want. I think what is important to remember with digital products is that you are going to have to be more physically present in order to sell the product. It's very hard to sell a digital product without there being kind of like a face behind the product that's being sold, at least from what I've seen. If you just put a calendar for 2024 on Etsy, I mean, there's a million people who sell calendars on Etsy. So how are you going to make yours stand out? Are you making TikTok videos that's showing the calendar? Are you making pins on Pinterest? I mean, whatever. But you're going to have to do more, I think, on the marketing side. So that's the only thing that I would say as far as digital products versus physical products. Like on Amazon, with your Amazon product, you'll never have to show your face. You'll never have to be the face of your brand. What is your story? How did you get into, oh wait, I'm supposed to be answering from the question box. If you have questions, put them there. But because I already read that out loud, let me real quick touch on this. And normally, well, not normally, it's been a long time since I've told the whole story from like beginning to end. If I were to tell you the whole story, we would be here for like the next 45 minutes. I lie to you not. But the condensed version is I was working at my corporate job in pharmaceutical sales, hated it, miserable, terrible mental health, so on and so forth. It was just like tragic. I wanted to be able to help my mom financially. I wanted to be able to pay off my student loans. And I just wanted to live the life that I feel like I always low-key really desired, even as a kid. I wanted to be able to see new places. I wanted to be able to travel. I wanted to be able to have nice things, but I just never knew how to get there. As someone who grew up with a single mom, worked multiple jobs to take care of her kids, like that was just, going on vacation was like foreign to me, or, you know, getting new stuff for school, kind of foreign to me, you know what I mean? So I lived a very humble life all the way up until basically my Amazon business took off. And even when it did, like the first 2 to 3 years of my business, you guys, you would never know that I was making the money I was making on Amazon, because I lived very frugally, very like humbly, because I was scared that it wouldn't last. And I feel like that's just my relationship with money as a result of growing up without it. So for basically what I'm trying to say is, and this is how I can talk about it for 45 minutes, literally, or maybe an hour or more, talking about the whole like evolution and how I got here. But anyway, I got sick of my 9 to 5, started my Amazon business while I was working there. I was in like my mid 20s, maybe I was like 24 or 25. No, maybe probably 24 when I first started. I lost money with my first 2 products on Amazon. Third product took off, quit my 9 to 5 job within 7 months, moved to California from Atlanta. I got pregnant, was able to just be in bed my whole pregnancy, amen, because I was sick my entire pregnancy. My Amazon business grew tremendously from 2019, about 100K in sales, all the way up to like $750,000 in sales in 2020, partially due to the pandemic, but also because my business was just growing. And, you know, that's the power of Amazon, selling on a platform with that many people who shop on there. So basically that's what ended up happening. And my business has continued to grow ever since. Right now I would say on average, like $180,000 to $185,000 in sales per month. This last month was my highest month ever, $195K in sales, and it's because of Black Friday. And that's that. Normally my business does, well, I won't say normally because every year it grows, but I'm on track this year to have a really good year. And that's that. That's how I got into it. I could talk about it more, and maybe I'll do a live just like telling my whole story, or maybe a YouTube video or something. I do have a YouTube video about the transition from my 9 to 5 to Amazon, but not like the whole life story. It was just so much that I could include, but that is the SparkNotes version of it. Let's see here. Are food products good to sell? No, I would never sell a food product on Amazon because of the expiration dates, and the safety liability aspect is a no-go. What did you get your degree in? Are you the eldest child? My degree is in nutrition, and I'm the eldest girl, which is even worse than being the eldest child. But no, I'm the middle child. I've got an older brother and a little sister. Next question. Does credit score matter when starting an Amazon account? No, it does not. Is your business an LLC? I've got multiple LLCs, but the one that I pay myself from is an LLC, and it's an S Corp. That's how I'm taxed, and that's why I pay myself as a W-2 employee, a very handsome salary of a CEO. But yeah, I've got multiple. Let's see. This question says, I'm sorry, I was asking if there's such a thing as doing too much with the Amazon business. Some people can do too much from wanting more and more and more, but start realizing they're not seeing the results they wanted to see. So in that sense, what do you suggest to help with the business crisis? There's so much that I could say depending on the specific situation. If you're saying like doing too much is in launching too many products and then like not having the cash to sustain it, I don't really know specifically what you're talking about. But what I have found as an entrepreneur and just in business in general is that less is more. Like overcomplicating your business. And in fact, I have a YouTube video that I filmed that will be coming out in 2 weeks on this topic. Less is more. Simplify your business, guys. You don't need to have 1 million employees. You don't need to have 1 million different processes. Like stick to the basics, stick to what is simple and what you can reasonably do, and just let that be it. You don't have to do the most. I feel like at a certain point in my business, I was like, let me sell more products, let me expand, let me scale. And at a certain point, it's like, what are you really gaining from that? Are you really even profitable? Or are you just scaling to say that you sell 10 products? Why would I sell 10 products when I could sell 6 and make the same amount, if not more? You know what I mean? Simplicity is key in my opinion. Okay. Oh, I really have to go, you guys. I keep saying I'm going to end it and then I see more and I don't want to leave anyone hanging. I see people shopping in stores like Walmart and Dollar Tree to sell on Amazon. Why do you think people do this way instead of FBA? It's still FBA, but that's called retail arbitrage, and people do it because there's less money required up front. But it's not scalable, and you'll never become a millionaire doing retail arbitrage. It's just not realistic. How many steps go into shipping your products, meaning from your supplier leaving China to entering the US? A bunch. I mean, I can't put a number on it. There's a lot of steps involved. I pay my freight forwarder so that I don't have to worry about any of it. I basically pay them $1 amount. That includes everything, including, checking things into customs, shipping it from the port to the fulfillment center. I mean, there's lots of steps involved, but that's the whole point of the freight forwarder, is that they take care of all of it. So you pay them, you find a good one, and they will handle everything. And I have one that I can recommend for anyone who wants it. DM me and I will give you my freight forwarder. Do you recommend using a freight forwarder or just shipping directly from the manufacturer to Amazon? Freight forwarders will give you the best price, but shipping with your manufacturer will be the easiest. So it just depends on what you care about. If you don't mind spending a couple extra dollars to have your manufacturer do it, it's definitely the easiest. Keep in mind though, when your manufacturer is the one who's doing it, they are still using a freight forwarder. It's just that they're the ones who are doing the communicating. So they're basically putting like a little bit of like a service fee on top of them doing it. Or you can go directly to the source. Again, I have a freight forwarder that I can recommend to you guys. Just send me a DM and I got you. This is the last question and I mean it. I gotta go. So this question says, is it better to sell low price items on Amazon or higher priced items? I recommend that you sell low cost items. Reason being is cash flow. When you have to re-up on your inventory, you're going to be sick if you're selling a really expensive product, because the dollar amounts are just going to get out of hand. Like if you're selling a $10 product, you start with $500, that's $5,000. That's a lot of money, okay? What happens when you have to double up on your next order, that's $10,000 towards inventory. Yes, you'll have your profit from your first order, but you might not have it. You might not have it in time to the time where you have to place your next order. Like if you have a really good product that's selling really, really fast, that's great, and you want to dance and celebrate, but at the same time, now you have to start thinking, okay, I have to order more inventory, but you haven't been paid out from Amazon just yet. If you've got to come up with $10,000, yes, you might have a credit card. Yes, you might have some other way of doing it, which is good for you, but not everyone has that. So now you have a great product that's selling, but you don't have enough money to re-up on the inventory. And now you have to wait for Amazon to pay you out, and your first payout is going to take a little bit longer. So you might be out of stock because of the cash flow. If it's a cheaper product, then it's going to be much easier to restock your inventory. If you stick to my guidelines, let's say you have a $4 product, you start with $500, $2,000 for your initial inventory. When you have to reorder, yes, it's still a lot of money, but it's more reasonable. Like you might be able to figure something out with a smaller dollar amount than you would with something in the 10,000s or even more. So that is just my advice. It doesn't mean that you can't sell higher cost items. I just personally think that it's risky to do so. So I say start small, start with a $5 or less item, and then from there you can scale up. I mean, guys, you can sell as many products as you want. Start with something that is more conservative, make some money, see how the process works, see that you're able to actually make money doing it, and then from there scale up. Now, if you want to do something a bit more expensive, great. You've got the cash to do it from your first product. And then you're not playing too big right off the bat, and now you're playing with big amounts of money and you don't know what you're doing yet. I just don't think it's a smart way to go about it. And that's my opinion as someone who has done this for 5 years. I've taught thousands of people how to do this. And the people who see the most success are always the ones who are more conservative and take their time. They scale up when it makes sense. They don't just out the gate do the most and then end up in a position where they can't keep up. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so as much as I would like to continue answering questions, guys, I've got to go pick up my baby from school. But I hope that this was helpful. If it was, share it with someone. I'm going to definitely try to save this live and then post it to the page so that you guys can refer back to it or do whatever you want. But I hope you have a good rest of your day. It's pretty much a nighttime. Have a good weekend. Let me say that because I keep forgetting that it's Friday. Have a good weekend. If you have any questions, let me know. Just send me a DM on here. I answer all of my DMs. If you are interested in learning more, I've got my free training linked in my bio. I've got my step-by-step program for those of y'all who need a little bit more support, a little bit more love, a little bit more help on this journey. You can also check that out. I've got an ebook. I've got lots of other resources for you guys. And that's all I've got. So have a wonderful evening. Have a great weekend. And I will see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.